Next, we have Zenith Epigenetics Ltd, a wholly owned subsidiary of Zenith Capital Corp. It's a clinical stage biotech company focused on the discovery and development of novel therapeutics for the treatment of cancer and other disorders with significant unmet medical needs. Please welcome President and CEO Donald McCaffrey. Nice to see you, Donald. How are you today?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much.
All right, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. A good day, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for attending. This is a very exciting format, and we're looking forward to getting some information out to you here. Now, we'll start with the forward-looking statement, as usual, and then we'll go on to our first slide. With lead-in here will be science discussion, but most of the presentation today will be on fundamentals and the finance, how we're proceeding and how we plan on making some money for you. So we're dealing in a new science called epigenetics. And what we're doing in epigenetics is we do not alter the DNA code. We've got two drugs that are going to benefit Zenith quite nicely. One is called apabetalone, which regulates the expression of disease-causing genes. And we have a royalty position in that, a very strong royalty position. And our main drug is Zen3694, which inhibits cancer resistance mechanisms. So different approach, but both using epigenetics. Through the inhibition of BET proteins, we can make the drug works at the gene level, and it's acting upstream. Conventional pharmaceuticals, as you can see on the right-hand side, 98% of all drug development takes place at the protein level. And upstream from that is messenger RNA. This is where the drugs like Pfizer's drug and Moderna, this is where those COVID-19 vaccines worked. We're even upstream of that. So at the DNA level, what happens in the body is the DNA is transcribed or duplicated into messenger RNA. That process is called transcription. That's where we work. Now, during transcription in our patients, something's gone wrong, whether it's caused by diet, environment, disease. The message has been changed. Usually it's something like turning on inflammation-causing genes, etc. What we do is simply turn it back to the original DNA message. And so that's what the science that you're going to be learning about here is based on. It's the transcriptional correction of the messages in the body. So basically today what we're talking about is two involved parties. One is Zenith Capital Corporation, and the other is Resverlogics Corp, which is a TSX Toronto listed company. And they both have a very strong financial interest in the drug apabetalone. One being it's the main owner of the drug, the other, which is Zenith Capital Corporation, which has a strong revenue position in it. So it's both companies' interest to see this drug move forward. And I'll show you some of the financial modeling in a minute here. So the goal really is to advance these epigenetic breakthroughs to revenue. Now, apabetalone has the FDA's breakthrough therapy designation. This designation is the highest award given by the FDA. So we're very pleased to have that, and that'll help in our efforts moving forward. Now, it's a very tough market out there right now, especially in life sciences. So trying to fund a final trial in an equities market is awkward at best. So we have a different approach to it. We have a combined strategy. So Zenith Capital Corporation owns a 6 to 12% royalty. We're going to sell up to 20% of those 75 million preferred shares to royalty housing companies, etc., royalty aggregators, and or we can actually sell our oncology company. So Zenith Capital Corporation has a subsidiary called Zenith Epigenetics, and it's an oncology company. It's doing very well. You'll learn a little bit about it here today. So we have two approaches. We can do either or both. And the goal really is to raise a large amount of capital and be able to finance the final Resverlogics trial for apabetalone. And it beats the dilution we would go through on a normal equity program right now. So what is our confidence in this approach? It's exceptionally high. As I mentioned, apabetalone already has FDA breakthrough therapy designation. And as such, it gets fast-tracked. It has all those benefits, plus there's even tax benefits with that status. So we got that by having the FDA review the existing technology and where we are. And in our last trial, the apabetalone was able to hit a 63% reduction in heart attacks, death, and congestive heart failure. And it did so with a statistical p-value of 0.0002. Now, what that means in layperson terms is there's only 2 in 10,000 chance that we can't repeat that. So confidence is very high. We're also very confident in our marketability of the Zenith Capital Corporation assets, being the 20% of our royalties or selling the company. It's being priced very attractive. It is a tough market. In a better market, we would get a lot higher price. However, getting this royalty stream online has a very, very strong positive impact for all stakeholders involved here, and we'll go over that during this presentation. So what we are doing with Zenith Capital Corporation is an equity private placement at this stage. And this use of proceeds for this really is to continue the oncology development, creating a stronger valuation and interest in the sale of that company, as well as working on the commercialization efforts for apabetalone. We plan on, through the issuer being Zenith Capital Corporation, we'll be dealing, eligibility will be credited and institutional investors only. We'll be raising $8 million US. Securities offered are a Class A common share voting, and it will be a unit. So it will be 1 common share and 1 warrant priced at 75 cents US, and the total the total unit price is 60 cents USD. This is subject to increase without notice. We will also be doing a rolling close, so it is a first come, first served basis. Now, the valuations in both companies in science and the products are very solid. These are advanced companies. They've been around for a while, and there's a lot of awards and accolades. On the Resverlogics side, we've already mentioned the breakthrough therapy designation as a huge benefit. On academic collaborators and partners, on apabetalone, all of the major trials have been run either by the Cleveland Clinic or the Imperial College of London. So 2 extremely fine institutions, very, very detailed work has been put into that. Publications, there's been over 40 publications in top journals for apabetalone. These are ones by us. There's several others that are coming out that are by other institutions. Just last month in London at the European Society of Cardiology, there were 4 presentations. 3 of them were about apabetalone presented by other universities in Europe. So it was quite nice to see. But these publications include Cell, JAMA, Nature. These are the top ones in the world. They're very difficult to get in. And third-party expert reviews. We've used Eversana, which is a very unique company, about 7,000 employees now, that specializes in rolling out phase 3 products. So it takes our 28-person company to having 7,000 people working on the program. So it's very, very beneficial. On the Zenith side, we are also applying for a fast track advancement of one of our lead indications, which is called nut carcinoma cancer. And we'll talk more about that shortly. Academic collaborators and partners, well, there's a ton for Zenith here. The National Institute of Health in the United States is one of our main ones. National Cancer Institute. We have collaborations and partnerships with Pfizer, Merck, Eli Lilly, GSK, Bristol Myers Squibb, several others. We're working with Harvard through their Cancer Institute, Yale, Memorial Sloan Kettering, MD Anderson. So you can see we very much are on the tier list here as far as who we work with and how we get our data confirmed. We have over 20 publications and posters in Zenith, highlighting the merits of Zen 3694. And third-party review on this side is a company called Cencora, formerly AmerisourceBergen. And this is a big company in our industry. They are huge. It's $260 billion in annual sales last year. So they have done our commercialization study of using just one indication. So we'll share that with you today as well. Now, the team behind this is an extremely experienced and very knowledgeable team in epigenetics. We've got a lot of people that work in both companies. Assets and IP and intellectual property are completely distinct between the two, and there is a very strong firewall between the two. But just a couple that I'd like to highlight. Dr. Evelina Kulikovsky is one of the lead people in the world in epigenetics. She's been with us a very long time, same as Henrik Hansen or Ravi Jagirdar, Brad Kent. There is very, very low, if any, turnover in this company. And we also have Dr. Sanjay Lakotia. He's got a very good experience in multiple pharmas and biotechs, and he's leading the oncology side. And on the cardiovascular side, we have cardiologist Dr. Mike Sweeney. And Mike he was with Pfizer for 11 years, and he ran all of their Viagra programs, so very experienced individual. Now, we also have these partners that I mentioned, which makes it very favorable for us to be able to commercialize with the data and having a very strong, large company supporting it. That's Eversana and Cencora. Now let's talk a little bit about apabetalone's projected gross revenues, lifetime that is. And it's very exciting. We have used extremely conservative numbers to get it down this low. I know $88 billion doesn't sound low, but it's a very exciting market potential. There hasn't been major advancements in cardiovascular in quite some time. I would personally say the last major one was the introduction of statins, and they were able to drop about 30% of the unmet need. That leaves 70% of unmet need still ongoing, and that's what we're tackling here. Now, statins had about 12 competitors, and Lipitor, Pfizer's product, was able to surpass the $10 billion a year in sales. It's still somewhere around 5 or 6, even though it's generic, and they had 12 competitors. So I think, since that we have no competitors in this field, we address up to 70% of the unmet need. I think we're in a very good position to surpass these numbers. Now, these numbers, as they relate to the royalty stream for Zenith, this is very important. The 88 billion has a slow start as a rollout, and then it climbs up to over $10 billion. It averages only 6. So Lipitor as a generic is pretty much doing that. So we are conservative. Now, in the bottom brackets here, what you're seeing is the royalties to Zenith. the 6 to 12% ascending royalty is going to have a lifetime value of Zenith for $10 billion plus. That's why Zenith is very willing to sell an asset and get this royalty stream commenced. We are ready to go. Trials are all set up. We've done all our work with the FDA. Drug is manufactured. We're ready to pull the trigger here. So as soon as we hit the next stage, whether it's selling 20%, and you can see how attractive that is to an investor or a royalty group. In the yellow on the bottom, that's just the 20%. So there's a $2 billion upside on this, and we'll price it reasonable so we have enough money to do all the things we need and want to do. But look at the returns. Those aren't even compounded between the annual lines there. That's a pretty good return. So I think we're being very attractive to the potentials here, and this is why we're moving the program forward in this way rather than going into an equities market, which is very unhealthy right now. Now, those last two slides are only two indications, just two. So we're in a very, very good position to increase those numbers. These are just some of the extra ones. The two circled in red are the two that are on the previous pages. And the others are where we can go. There's a huge potential market here in neuro and inflammation, et cetera. So we'll have some fun with this over the years. Patent life goes out to 2041. So we're in good position there. Now let's talk a little bit about the Zenith lead drug. And this is the work done by Cencora. And what they've done here is a commercial analysis of this small indication that we have in nut carcinoma. This is a very deadly disease. Normally in 6 months, it has a 100% kill rate. And that's actually not even the bad news. The bad news is 50% of them are children. So this is an important indication. Nobody's working on it. We have some very exciting data. And what Cencora has been able to do is show in this slide case that there should be about a $400 million a year revenue generated off of this single indication. That's exciting. And it gives us a place to start looking at advancing a deal structure to sell this asset. If we sell this asset, most of the funds will actually be dividended out to shareholders, including the ones that we hope participate in this $8 million round we're doing right now. Now, these are some of the results we've seen in various indications. The first one is we've seen between 40 and 60% objective response rate in nut carcinoma. And this collaboration is done with the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute at Harvard. So very credible people. They're the ones who are highlighting this new disease that has been identified. Nut carcinoma before had been misdiagnosed, and a lot of people were assuming it was squamous lung cell cancer or other types of cancer. And it's now, thanks to the people at Harvard, it is now through biomarkers, you can designate this specifically and approach it with our drug. Excuse me. And we've also seen some very exciting work in triple negative breast cancer with up to 92% reductions in lesions. And we've also seen a lot of response in prostate cancer. We're doing a lot of work in those two areas. Now, these objective response rates in oncology, if your drug is 20 to 30%, you have a very good drug. So in this lead one, we have 40% to 60%. We're quite confident that eventually we will be able to liquidate this asset and really kick our program off through the royalty structures. Now, it's not just a few indications we have going here. There's 11 programs. Normally, this would be a very expensive program to run. However, every one of these is being paid for by our partners. or the National Cancer Institute and National Institute of Health. So it's been a very affordable program. We have not given up any rights for this to these collaborators and partners. So we have full rights to proceed. The three orange blocks there are the programs that are most advanced for us right now. And you'll see the nut carcinoma one. We plan on moving that forward as fast as possible. We can go, we are staged to apply for the fast track statuses, et cetera. But on the right-hand side, you can see who these people are. We've got a lot of very key people behind us, whether it's Bristol Myers Squibb, University of California, San Francisco, Merck, University of Pittsburgh, GlaxoSmithKline, Merck Serono, on and on, Eli Lilly, Yale, Harvard. So the technology has been well received, and we feel very good about where we're headed. So that's it for the presentation portion today. To arrange a detailed science or finance discussion, please just contact me direct or through our friends here at Emerging. And right now we can go to Q&A, and love to hear the questions you have for me.
Great, Donald. Thank you so much. Yeah, we do have a question from Ava. Since you're a private company, Ava wants to know, how does she contact you and follow your news and updates?
Yeah, we can get you on the on our list. Just contact me direct with the information that's on the screen right now, and we'll take care of that. It is worth following. It's been very quiet for the last while we've been prepping for all this, but we're ready to go, and it's exciting.
And Tanya asks, is the goal to take the oncology company public?
We have avoided that in the past. The goal really is to sell the oncology company right now. There is a public listing for it on the pink sheets. It's not supported by us, and it trades erratically by appointment almost. So it's not our main goal right now. In this Zenith Capital Corporation, those shares will be dividend paying. And few slides back when we were showing the Zenith's position in that, a lot of that will be paid out in dividend royalties. We hope that with our current efforts to work on a royalty position and selling the oncology company, there would be a fairly significant dividend paid out, actually larger than the cost of the equity round.
And so Mark wants to know, at what point will Zenith and or RVX shareholders see substantial increase in value of their holdings?
It's dependent on the market right now, but we do believe that will be between 6 and 12 months. And like I say, the dividend from Zenith Capital Corporation, if all goes well, should exceed the principal cost of the equity round.
And Joshua wants to know, how do you feel about the shares that are trading on the market at only 10 cents per share? Why is the market so negative on these shares?
I don't care about the shares. As Joshua, you'll note that there is no bid or trade on there. We did not list that company. A broker listed it so they could get rid of stocks that were private in their publicly traded accounts. We don't support it. It doesn't provide financials, etc. So it's just like, you know, the markets in Germany. They'll sometimes list you on it. We don't support it. And it's kind of funny, Joshua, because if you go back about a week, it was trading at 0.00001 of a cent. And the next day, it went up 7 million% in one day. I think we were the top on the record. So it has no value. And also, just to back up the value of the company, over the course of the last 10 years, we've done somewhere between $50 and $60 million in financing. most of that, Joshua, was at either $2 or $1 per share. So the 60 cents that we're doing for the unit is properly adjusted for this current tough life science market. And if you want to try buying any volume on that pink sheet listing, you'll find it'll be at our price here quite quickly.
And Joshua asks, what's the minimum investment for this capital raise?
We're looking at, we've listed on the page further back, $50,000 minimum. And that's flexible, but we'd rather do it quickly.
And a few questions I'm going to consolidate. Alex wants to know, there are 13 ongoing trials with Zenith. Are there any FDA discussions to fast track any of these trials? And if you can give a timeline on the trials that are set up?
Yes, there is discussion to fast track. And that process, because of the way we're funding this, we're using a US NIH program called CRADA. And what it's designed to do is test new drugs in combination with existing drugs. So working on synergies, and that's where our drug is extremely strong. So we have to, unfortunately, move at a slower pace because of that. So there's a trade-off for the, we've probably received about $75 million in clinical trial expenses. So there's a trade-off for that. But the first one that can go through, we're assuming we will have our application in within 30 days. And then we have a 90-day period to wait for FDA meeting times. So it would be into Q1 of 2025 is our estimate.
And are there continued discussions or negotiations for a potential royalty deal that's been discussed in past meetings at Zenith Capital?
Yes, there is. There's discussions ongoing. And Zenith Capital Corporation, if we are able to sell Zenith Epigenetics, the oncology company, we will maintain an 8% royalty on that as well. So Zenith Capital Corporation is transferring into a royalties aggregator, and it's a very profitable position to be in. We feel we're in a very good position to get something significant done early in 2025. Could be sooner, but we're not sure.
And Tony wants to know, what collateral has RVX pledged for the loans?
So for RVX, for Resverlogics on the Apabetolon, we have a small loan position with one of our largest shareholder, Hepalink, and that was announced. Information on that was announced a couple months ago with a 2-year extension on that.
All right. Well, do you have any closing remarks for our viewers today?
No, I don't. And it's nice to be on this program and look forward to follow-up from the investors and institutions.
Fantastic. Well, great presentation, and thank you so much for joining. We'd love to see you again in the future, Donald.
You will.
Okay, great.
Okay,
everyone.
thank you very much.
We'll be right back.